this actually happens? So talk about your paper a little bit and about what you're seeing with current generative outputs.
Right. So there's a couple things there actually. There's what we said in our paper, and then there's post-training techniques happening currently that encourage sycophancy. Talk about sycophancy in the paper. The paper we were getting at the fact that because these systems are using human language, and they're particularly good at English, because again, the bias is on the internet. People speaking to it in English will feel like they are talking to another person. Fact has been like well documented for a long time. ELIZA, the ELIZA system, back in the 60s, I think it was 65. I could be wrong on that date, but it was just a simple rule-based sort of chatbot, and people felt like they could really talk to it like a therapist. It was designed to sort of put forward sentences that sounded like Rogerian therapy. So people's tendency to impute a human mind when they see human-like language means that they do feel like they're talking to something they can trust like a human. And then beyond that, conversations are happening privately, right? So it's like if you talk to a friend privately in your living room, you will probably disclose things that you wouldn't disclose in public settings. And so that same sort of effect is happening when people are talking directly to chatbots now, is like they feel like this is a private conversation with something that is picking up their language, and because it's stitching things together probabilistically, repeating back that kind of language. So that creates what's called alignment or entrainment in psycholinguistics when it's two people talking. And that builds relationships. When it's two people talking and you entrain to one another and what you're talking about and the language you're using, that's a foundation of friendships. And so, or just, positive working relationships. And so people are undergoing this sense of human likeness, and then imputing a mind within it, in, private feeling confidential settings that aren't private because they're going through, large company APIs, and seeing how the language is aligning to them, and then really experiencing a bond because of it. And so we were talking about this in our paper because we were just very concerned that people would fall into this illusion, because essentially we can't not do that, because our brains have developed, have evolved as humans to communicate to other humans via language. And so, I mean, I think that when people worry about like the illusion of human likeness, they might be misunderstanding that this isn't something you can sort of reason yourself out of. It's something that our brains are designed to do, like the same way that we experience red as red, right? Even though it's, light refraction and this sort of thing, like our brains are designed to have a sense of this other person there, and to impute into that thing intentionality, feelings, emotions, all these sorts of things that we experience as humans. And we sort of wanted to flag that was going to happen and there was no way out of it unless people took this seriously in their designs, handled this sort of very foreseeable issue in how they design the systems. That didn't happen. And that has led to some of the problems that you mentioned, psychosis in particular. It could be different. There are other paths of development. But, that's, I think ultimately when people are engaged with systems that can drive up profit, and that's always going to be an incentive when you're a commercial company.